All right. Good evening. It's here for Enumerate Yabasan Adanyamia CBM for the opportunity or the Amayan. So for once again, no, Monday, it goes by so fast. I mean, one Monday, but the next thing you know, then another Monday is here. But yeah, we are so glad, sir. Yet me Enya Konya na yet me Abba another Monday BM to your financial program. We know so it's been a blessing to a lot of people because the comments that we get from the different people, calling in and some of them testing, it tells us people are really benefiting from that, and other people are using some of the information that we share on here. And yeah, nyamiase and so last week, like 2 weeks ago, we started something on the investment. We took a break because now a tax season, there's always that little things that are left behind. Okay, what do we do? What do we do after the tax season? About so what do you do? Is that the end of it? No, it's not the end of it. Yeah, my alternatives in terms of what the car, some of the things that you need to start doing like right now, and even preparing for like next year. Because Saudeka this year, most likely, some of the things that you did last year, chances are you're probably doing the same thing. So, what are some of the things that you can do to get out of that? Next year and so on. Once I and Nikabiem. We talked about tax saying one time today it's done and that's it. You forget about it. But it's planning this whole thing throughout the whole year. It helps you and it guarantees at the end of the year, and possibly with a year, we'll some refund. And yes, can also about even if I get a refund right now, what do I do with it? Some of us, maybe we think that this is free money, time to take a vacation, time to do certain things, but we share this. Refund. Yes, if you want to take the vacation, good. You can also do that. But it's also an opportunity for you to pay down some of the high interest, credit cards that we have, and also save some of it. Enti ene dikan yabema yehina ya ho akwaba na yasiama Dr. Wanso akwaba for the time na wanya nti dog yabema o a chance na wama yatie for akwaba na ya start yumadi.
Was it for it show be another day, another week. Yes, I will be able to. Hopefully, with my taking information and my number to my boy, as always, this is really a labor of love, So we don't get paid for this. We don't get anything for this. It's just for us to be able to give back and help you all. So my voice is a little bit down today, so please bear with me.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, dog, that was it. It's a fina wabakan so I could say I'm kwaba too, and Yesika Samne, And there are a few things that we want to look at. Especially and it's not only in the US but all over the world right now. Prices of items are so high. Gas prices or petrol prices are so high. Things that in the past, we'll call grocery store, things that we used to buy for maybe like $1. Right now, either say a call to maybe $2 or a call to $3 or even more. It used to be fill or tank, it's probably cheaper. But now, and it's not only in the US, but all over the world, everywhere, like right now, and because of that, And the only unfortunate thing about it is our paycheck and I say your katua is still the same. Nothing has changed. Regardless of the high prices, your katua so is still the same. Nothing has changed. However, we still live in the same lifestyle. So yeah, we just wanted to, I say, state of the economy. We just want to today give some update in terms of the air coso and how can we keep our minds at ease. Said the air coso is just like a temporary thing. Yes, at some point, it will die off. How long we don't know. And it is something and we need to be prepared. Now, if certain things we are not doing, we put them in place. Even when it gets tougher, we'll be well prepared for that. Doug, once again, thank you for your time today. And in your area, and I know, you've seen a lot in terms of like what's going on in the economy near there. You see some of them like firsthand near there. So can you help us and educate us and keep us informed in terms of what is currently going on? Now, as you see for more to get like more prepared.
Sure. Thank you for for the question. And I think at the end of the day, man, that I could definitely understand, the cost of concern, in the market and people's fears of the unknown in the market, right? A lot of pundits, a lot of experts saying, "Oh, we are in a recession." Somebody saying that we are going to a recession, but technically, by the definition of a recession, we are in a recession. But is there feedback coming in?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the key thing for people to really understand, right? There are a lot of metrics that are used to identify or determine the severity of the recession that we're in, right? A lot of times when there's a recession, right, unemployment rates go through the roof, right? Right now we are seeing some level of unemployment, but it's not, the rate of unemployment is not as high as you see in a normal recession, right? Now, can it get worse? I think so, but can it also remain the same? It's a possibility, right? That's a lot. That's a thing that nobody really fully knows what's about to transpire, right? But as a consumer, you have to prepare yourself, right? If you look at 2022, right, the Fed raised interest rate about 7 to 8 times, right? That's really significant because they are trying to control inflation, right? And a lot of times when it's overstimulation or there's overprinting of money, it creates this type of inflation environment where the buying power of the money decreases, right? So now the question is, how do we slow down or limit inflation, right? To the Fed, the best way is to limit the amount of inflow of money coming into the market, right? So in order for us to be able to limit that, let's increase the price of what items, real estate, cars, whatever it is. We see the price of everything kind of going up, right? So you see the interest rates on those items going up. So when you see the rates going up as a consumer, you get a bit scared and worried, right? So you're liable to spend less money, right? Thereby potentially slowing down, the increase of inflation in the market. That's why you continue to see these increase in interest rates, right? But as far as people being scared and being fearful of the unknown, it's very understandable, right? So how do you buffet you and your family against inflation? At the end of the day, it's very, very important that you make sure that you have as much money saved as possible, right? Because, right, when we're in a recession, people losing jobs become more readily apparent, and it happens on a much more consistent and much more rapid basis. So making sure that you and your family have an emergency fund in place. So God forbid, if you or your spouse lose your job, right? You have sufficient funds, maybe 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses or your income saved or available to be able to cover your month-to-month expenses, right? And I realized that the people that have the most fear are the ones that are living check to check, which is the majority of the U.S. economy, that are living check to check, right? So if you know that, hey, you are in that situation, it's very, very important that, you may want to find a way to make extra income. You may want to pick up an extra shift to be able to save more money. You may want to consider spending less money, right? Maybe sit down with your family and doing a financial analysis and kind of seeing your income and outgoing expenses and how to limit some expenses. So, I mean, there are different things you can do to prepare yourself for, a recession. No matter how mild or how severe it is, you and I can't control that, right? All we can control is how prepared we are for when, a recession do take place, or a severe recession do take place, right? But never forget also that just because a recession is here or it's going to continue to get worse, maybe, right? It may not always be a reason to fear, right? Because in recessions, the people who know what they're doing tend to make a lot of money. The business owners, entrepreneurs, right? People who understand what's going on tend to use people's fears to make what money, right? Multi-millionaires are made all the time through recessions, right? Folks who know what they're doing are going to benefit and take advantage. Folks who don't know what they're doing are very fearful, are going to sit on the sidelines and not do anything, right? So to me, you really have to kind of figure out who you are as a person, how risk averse you are as a person, and really what you're trying to, achieve during a recession. Is it just to be able to make it through the recession, or are you trying to maybe somehow use a recession to your benefit to be able to maybe build or increase your net worth? I mean, so it really have to depends on the person, right? So it's not something you should fear. It's something that you should, if you're fearful, use that fear to prepare yourself and put yourself in a better situation to be able to overcome whatever may come. This is not the first recession the US has faced. We've faced recessions plenty of times. There's been records of plenty of recessions. We always come out of it. Now, how long it's going to take for us to come out of that recession, nobody really knows. But does it really matter? The key is to put you and your family in a position so that when we do potentially go into a deeper level of recession, that you guys are, buffeted, or you have a strong financial backing to help you to be able to overcome whatever may transpire in the market. But like I said, fear is very normal, right? But like as I mentioned earlier, it's not the first time we've been through a recession, and there are ways to be able to overcome that recession. Like I said, there are a lot of indicators, or that kind of like directs you to, oh, a recession is coming, right? We have not hit all those indicators yet. We've hit some, but not all yet. So, like I said, is it going to come? I mean, right now, technically, based on definition of recession, we are in one, right? It may be a mild form of recession. Are we going to go to a deeper recession? Who knows? It's a strong possibility, yeah, right? But it's also a chance that we may not, right? If you look at the stock market right now, right, 2022 took a beating in the market, right? If you are an investor in the market, you saw, right, the value of your account go down because of all the fears in the market, the war in Ukraine, all the different things that are going on that's impacting the overall U.S. market. You saw it happen, right? But within the past few months, we've also seen a bounce back in the market. Now, are we going to continue to go up, up, up in the market? We don't know, right? We may drop back down, go even worse than before. Nobody really knows, right? But at the end of the day, the key for you is not to worry about what's about to happen. The key for you is to prepare yourself so that no matter what happens, you and your family are in a very strong position to be able to withstand and overcome whatever transpires.
Yeah, thank you so much, your friends, Doc, for that valuable information. Which I think one of the key things that you said now, for we journey, we need to take, and it's during this time, it's easy to panic because of the fear of the unknown. So we panic, then in the midst of that panic, so when you're careful, you make certain decisions, you live to regret that. So what our recommendation is just take it a day at a time. keep yourself informed. Look and listen to some financial news in the idea to see what is going on and what are some of the things that I can do as an individual, as families. You bet to me, I prepare, but your modern say so no fear and panic is something that will take away. And it's very difficult. We get it. It's very difficult because one kasa your paycheck is still the same. Nothing has changed. However, no, here you are with when you you go to the grocery store. You used to spend $50. It was enough for your family. Now you have to spend $100, or you have to spend like $150 or even $200. Still, you are unable to buy everything that you need. So what do you do? What are some of the things that you need to do? Some of us, before we even got to this point, we had plans to buy a house, plans to do certain things for ourselves. Unfortunately, right now, for you to get like a decent mortgage for a house, you are looking somewhere between like utie yena unya a 5 or 6% to cry na just you need to be grateful near there. So Nyoma Bebre, it's on hold. A lot of us, Nyoma Bebre, it's on hold right now. So what do we do? So we just wanted to share some of these information with us now, how to prepare in this unknown economy. Doug, one of the things that maybe we also want to help our listeners or viewers and say, yes, we get it that things are tough, and it doesn't seem to get better like anytime soon. We all get that. So as an individual and as families, what are some of the things that we can do in terms of our finances to help us be prepared for whatever is going on, just in case this thing lasts for maybe like a year or two? We'll be better prepared now than your friend is, and we have done in the past.
That's a great question. And if you look at history, you look at the average recession, right? It can last from months to a year, sometimes two, right? Nobody really controls the length or the timeline of when a recession will start and end. The key thing, as I mentioned earlier, is to prepare yourself for that. Question is, how do I prepare myself, right? As we've been discussing over the course of time, you want to make sure that you always do a financial checkup. Figure out where you are. Checks and balances are so important, right? You must figure out, okay, my spouse and I, or my, if you're an individual person, this is how much money I have coming in on a monthly basis or bi-weekly basis. These are my expenses that I literally sit down and write it out, right? Because sometimes when you try to think it through your mind, it's not as effective. But when you sit down, you write these things out, it gives you a much more clearer picture, right? So you figure out, okay, how much money we have coming in, how much we have going up, right? Some people are very fortunate in that they're able to make an exorbitant and extensive amount of money, right? But not everybody's in that same position. And you don't compare yourself to your neighbor or whatever what the next person is doing, right? Figure out your income and your expenses. Figure out how much savings do I have. Think about it, right? You have over 60% of the population that are living check to check. That's a significant amount of people that are living check to check, right? Now the question is, if you are in that position, you have to figure out, do I need to make extra income, right? Do I need to maybe pick up an extra shift, do something else to be able to significantly increase my savings, right? How much do I have saved? Do I have a 3-month emergency account? Do I have a 6-month emergency account, right? If I lose my job today, can I survive for the next 3 to 6 months? If those answers are no, then you know that you're not prepared for what potentially is about to occur, right? So in that scenario, the question is, how do I quickly get myself to that position where I have decent amount of money saved? Because if something happened, right, and if I own a house, I don't want to now start owing significant back pay on my mortgage, or leave my family in a devastated position because we can't pay for our month-to-month expenses, right? So that's why we always stress making sure you have a buffer, right? Making sure you have levels of your financial strategy and your financial game plan, because that's why emergency accounts are so important, because you don't know when emergency is going to happen. That's why you spend time to build an emergency account, so that when something do happen, you are not trying to get ready, you're already ready. That's what the saying goes, don't wait to get ready, you stay ready. Right? So that when something happens, you are in a position to be able to withstand whatever detriment or whatever, however severe a recession may be. But, we can talk all day about do this, but if you don't actually sit down and do it, right? There are people who are still spending the same way they were spending when the market was booming or doing very well. They are still under the same impression that I'm doing fine. I'm making enough income so I can do that. They are neglecting the fact that something catastrophic can happen in the market, right? So you have to be very diligent and very serious about your finances in order to make different decisions than you've been making previously. Now, if you or your spouse have significant amount of emergency money saved, then you feel very confident no matter what happens, you're going to be prepared. Not a lot of people can say they're in that position, right? That's why I said going through your statements, right? Making sure that you are not overspending money. Going through your statements, making sure that you're not paying for any old subscriptions that you're no longer using. Going through your statements, making sure that nothing is siphoning money away from your account. Because at the end of the day, every little dollar counts. As I mentioned, the majority of the population are not in a very strong financial position. Right? So when you know that, you have to make sure you do everything you can to make sure you keep as much money as you have. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much of that money you get to keep.
Right.
Right? And how do you keep that money? You have to be very cognizant of where your money is going. You can wake me up any time of the day, and I can tell you where my money is or where money is going, right? Because I'm very conscientious about it, right? I respect money. I work hard for my money. I don't want to waste my money. Right. So anything that I see is wasteful, I'm not going to indulge in it. I'm not going to put my money into it. Yes, have fun, enjoy yourself, but also be very cognizant. You also need to save, because something may happen that may set you back financially many years if you're not prepared. Right? Think about it. If something happens and you don't have money saved, what do most people do? Their goal is start using their credit cards.
Yeah.
That's putting you into more debt. Consumer debt is over $20,000 in America today on average, right? You look at credit card interest rates, it's some over 30% interest rate. Now, let's just say you're out of a job for 3, 4, 5 months. You now spending all that credit card money. And then when you get back on your feet, you now have over 10, 15, 20, 30K on credit card debt at 30%. When are you going to get out of that debt? Right? A credit card is not an emergency account. Emergency account is designed for emergency. A credit card only gets you to more debt if you're not responsible. And most people are not responsible with a credit card because they don't really understand the power and the value of it. You use credit cards when you are in a financial position to be able to pay for that debt on a monthly basis without letting the interest accrue. But if you are not in a financial position, you should not be using credit card, because all you are doing is making the situation even more worse. Right? So we have to be very, very mindful in every decision that we make when it comes to our finances. Because at the end of the day, every decision that we make is either going to have a positive impact or a negative impact on ourselves, our family, and everything that we're planning to achieve with our finances. So once again, be very, very mindful, be very serious about your money, right? Be very cognizant, be very conscious about your money. Because at the end of the day, you are working hard for that money. The only people that waste money are people who don't really work hard for that money or who didn't earn that money. Because if you work hard for your money, you spend it differently. And if you got that money by dishonest gains, you are reckless, because why? You didn't really work hard for the money. Right? Now, of course, there's some people that really work hard for money and they blow it, but that's a very small population. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, not comparing yourself and just being true to yourself and making sure that, you know, you are putting you and your family in the best financial position. As a man of my household, there is no way I can have a peace of mind knowing that if one bad mistake can set my family back, or one mischeck can set my family back, I can't put myself in that predicament, right? So because I don't ever want to be in that position, I always make sure that I'm doing all the right things as best as possible to be able to put myself and my family in the best financial position.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doc, for that great information and advice. You know, yet for if na what joining us, so I say yama wakwaba na yama uhu say can about the state of the economy, what is going on in the economy right now, and what we can do to get prepared. And some of the things, some of the habits maybe we are doing, we are creating the awareness and say, if I'm indulging in those habits, maybe it's time for me to put a stop to it, because whatever is going on right now, nobody has like a timeline. We cannot tell you, say, it will take 6 months, it will be over. No, I couldn't tell you that. No, no, it's false information because nobody knows. Yeah, dear. So by the end of the day, we all have to find a way to adjust and adapt to what is going on. And Doug, what shares so much great information on some of these things, and especially when we started this year, some of the things that we've actually discussed, they are coming to play like right now. One of the things that you said on the question is how do we prepare? It's helping to build like our emergency fund. This is something that we spoke about when we talked about a building budget. Having a budget in the idea. The question right now, crying is how many of us and emergency fund crying you will be, and how many of us and as CSA, if we lose our job, we'll be able to be self-sufficient for the next 3 months, 6 months, or even a year, without going out there, without depending on a credit card, or without even going out there borrowing money from family members. All what we are saying is that things are tough, and things will keep getting tough as we go forward. If I'm an individual or as a family, if I haven't started with an emergency fund, this is the time to rethink and maybe start. You need to start something now, because the future right now, in terms of our finances, it's unknown. And the worst thing, Ukraine said, whatever job you have like right now, whatever job I have, it's not guaranteed, because companies are also going through like tough times. There could be a time where they want to downsize, and once they plan to do that now, they will lay people off. You never know. You might fall like a victim to one of that. If you do, are you prepared to be able to sustain yourself? And what we are saying is, please say, if you haven't started on your emergency fund, this is the time for you to start. Another key factor for a lot of us, to do during this recession time, we don't even know, say, we are in recession or whatever it is, whatever is going on right now, is for us to be able to cut down on our expenses. Things that we used to do a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, we cannot keep doing the same thing. In the past, if I used to eat out with my family, maybe once or twice a week, it is time for me to rethink and look at, say, is that really worth it? Can I put that extra money into my emergency fund, or into like any savings account, versus say, I want to live the same lifestyle that I've been living the last 5 years. We are living in tough times, and it's time to make some adjustment. Cut down on some expenses. And Doug, you mentioned certain key things. I think it's worth mentioning again. Some of us, we sign up for some subscriptions, maybe like Netflix, maybe even your TV ekran. We went to like the premium package, and we are not even watching the TV. We have the subscription, Netflix subscription. We are not even watching those movies, It is time for us to review all these things and look like, say, hey, do I really need this Netflix? Maybe I don't. Let me, your friend say, cut it off. Maybe I have the premium, your friend say, package for my cable. Do I need all that? Maybe I don't. So time to rethink and look at some of these things in the idea. And like I was sharing with my wife just over this weekend, sir, gas prices are so high, sir. Some of the trips, unnecessary trips that we used to make, just driving here and there, sometimes for no reason, we need to cut all that out, and just go out when there is the need to do that. We are hoping, sir, some of this information will be relevant to you. Some of these things, if you are not doing them right now, then maybe we start doing them. And one big thing, Doug, which we once again want to repeat, fear and panic will lead us to make some decisions via MY. So we need to be able to keep our minds at ease, knowing this shall also pass. Now, Doug, right now, things are high, prices are so high, and our income, which is coming in, is still not enough. What would be your advice to those of us, where our income, which is coming in, it's not enough to be able to sustain us for those expenses in the house? And what would be your advice to us? What are some of the things that we can do to be able to at least keep going?
Okay, thank you for the question. And so here's the thing, right? There's really two major ways when it comes to increasing your money, right? It's either you're going to decrease how much money you spend on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, or you're going to make more income. The question I ask you is, which one do you prefer? Most people don't really want to alter their lifestyle by spending less. They'll prefer to make more income. Now, the question is, what can I do to make extra income, right? In my opinion, there are a lot of great opportunities out there that you can make extra income from, right? People are doing it every day. Your DoorDash, you have, you can rent a part of your house, room in your house, you can, do Uber. I mean, they're different. You can start a side business, a side hustle. Maybe you have a goal or dream that you want to maybe start something that, you've been passionate about for a very long time. Maybe this might be the time, a year, or where you start to be able to get that going, right? So at the end of the day, there are multiple ways, right, to be able to really get to a place where you feel confident about your money. But at the end of the day, if you are spending more than what's coming in, you're always going to be at a deficit. That's not going to change. The question is, how passionate, how serious are you about improving your finances, right? And nobody can answer that question except for each individual person, right? As I mentioned to you earlier, me as a man of my household, my goal is to make sure that my family never feels scared about our financial situation. So I diligently make sure that I put us in the best position possible, right? Making sure my wife and I are always on the same page. We communicate, right? Figuring out what's the most important thing to us, right? Making sure we put our heads together and make decisions together that will move us forward, right? So we're always confident, where we're going to be, because we are very diligent and serious about it. Now, if you are the type of person who would like to react to things, you're always going to keep doing what you're doing, even if it's not the right thing. Keep doing what you're doing until something happens and then you're reacting to it, instead of being proactive, which means planning ahead of time, right? So, like I said, I mean, the opportunity out there to make extra money if you so choose to. If you don't want to work extra or make extra money, then you have no other choice but to cut back on what you are currently spending money on. And sometimes the cuts may have to be drastic. And most people are not willing to make those drastic changes. Now the question is, how can I get better or improve if I'm not? Because think about it, right? The definition of insanity is what? Keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So if you say, hey, my financial situation right now is not the strongest, but yet I'm not willing to make changes, how can you tell me you want to do better financially? Because you've already decided in your mind that I don't want to change. I want to spend how I spend money every single month. At that point, I can't do even God can't do nothing for you. I mean, nobody can, right? Because you've already made up in your mind that you're going to go down this route. You see what I'm saying? But now, for that person that's serious, that wants to make changes, that want to improve their finances, that want to put their family in a better financial position, they are going to be willing to make the changes. And sometimes they just need somebody to point them in the right direction or guide them. Not that they don't want to, sometimes they don't know how to do better, right? And I think really it's person to person preference and desires. But like I said, the average person wants to do better. Sometimes they just need the guidance. But it's really, to me, in my mind, it's simple. If you want to do better financially, you make different financial decisions than what you've been doing. If you're not in the best position, if you are in the best position and you feel very good about it, keep doing what you're doing because it's working for you, right? Only two major ways: cut back on how you're spending, how much you're spending, or make extra income. Whichever route you want to go, you can choose to go that route. There's some people that say, you know, I want to do both. I not only want to cut back on how much I'm spending, I want to also make extra money. You can even further expand, right, your financial capacity. It's really about how disciplined you are and how far you're willing to go and how serious you are about making those changes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doc. And as you're talking, something was coming into my mind. So, you know, like right now, we're trying to help. So, if my income is not enough, okay, there are all these different alternatives, like you mentioned, do DoorDash or Uber, Lyft, and all that, get that extra income coming in. But knowing us, you know, soon as that income starts coming in, our lifestyle is also going to change. You know, the whole idea said, I'm getting this extra income, so maybe I can build up on my emergency fund, or maybe I can save for future, you know. Soon as that $200-300 starts coming in, you know, in addition to that, and instead of me using that money, you know, to either pay down some of my debt or to save, you know, now my taste will change. You know, I used to eat maybe fish. Now, no, I need to upgrade myself to what? Steak, because I have extra $100 or $200 coming in. Now, I'm even thinking about, you know, it's time for me to change my car. So now I'm planning on changing my car. So it's human nature where, until you rightly said it, sir, some of these things takes discipline where I'm trying to be able to keep afloat. I'm trying to be able to cut down on that expenses, you know. I'm trying to be able to save. But if God helps you with like that extra income coming in, yet here for the air can is discipline is the only thing that will help you and I to be able to do the things that we want to do. If you are not disciplined, you end up crying a worse situation, because more income does not guarantee like a great life. So yeah, Sawusho Chrome has said the more people make, you know, the more in debt they are, because the thing say, hey, I make all this money, so the next thing you know, you check, you know, credit cards, they are all maxed out, because in their mind, they think, so I have this income coming in, I'll pay it down. But at the end of it, and they are unable to even double their payment. They do just the minimum payment, the bare minimum, no, and they stay in debt. What we are saying is nyame buana be your pick up like a side job, be some income coming in, no. But more than say one, you save some of it, and two, you try also to pay down some of the high interest credit cards that you have, which will also help you. And the final say, some of us, you need that zeal, no, to look at our finances to be able to make some adjustment. So our recommendation, and they say, if you're unable to do this yourself, please get like a financial advisor, somebody that is well knowledgeable in that area that will help you, put you, it's like you go to a dietitian, they put you on this straight diet, what to do near there. You can also have a financial advisor that will help you and guide you each step of the way. Discipline in terms of some of the things that you do, some of the choices that we make near there. And yes, at the end of it, financial stress, if you're a family, if you are married, if you are not careful, it will lead to divorce. And it will bring so much unhappiness. Yes, you wouldn't feel comfortable about that. It will bring pressure on your kids. And our recommendation is be disciplined. If you're unable to do it, get a financial advisor to help you. Now, a bit to me, Abua. Dog. I think for tonight, at least we've been able to share the state of the account, what's going on, and what our viewers need to do. If you want to give like your last updates in terms of to our viewers what they need to be doing now.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I think we've discussed this very extensively. Repeated a lot of good points. And the key thing is, do not fear. Fear only comes because we're unprepared, right? And sometimes, even if you're prepared and you feel fear, the key thing is to go back, sit down, and analyze your finances, see where you're at, and see if you can do anything else to be able to improve. But if you want change to happen, you have to start making different decisions. And like I said, we could sit here and talk all day. If you don't apply what you're learning from here, you're wasting your time and you're wasting our time. So I really hope and pray that all of us will really buy in and apply the information that you guys are getting here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doc. And you're here for us now, you're spending more time dealing with the state of the economy. We hope, sir, when you're something from it, a better beneficial to you. And like Doc said, then don't just take the information, but use the information. Even if you don't need it, share it with a friend. Maybe it will benefit a friend. Until say you be share next week, Doc.
God bless you too, bro. God bless you for all that you do.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay, bye.